Assalamu alaikum, dearest and loveliest audience. Peace be unto you all. I again welcome you to English Podcast with Asif if you have already been following us. If you're new to this, then I welcome you wholeheartedly for the first time, and I hope you will continue listening to these podcasts and help us with your advice and suggestions. Dear listeners, this is a very important episode of our podcast, episode number 6, because these podcasts are, as you know, aimed to help us seek proficiency in English language, English speaking, and many of you might be in search of some inspiration, some knowledge of others' experiences, how they did it, how they learned. So this is going to be helpful, very helpful for the ones who aim at seek the proficiency in English speaking. And for that reason, we have with us a student who gained a considerable hold on speaking just in the process of 1 year. How he did it, what were the things that worked for him and what didn't. I asked him to share his experience because before this particular year he talked about in which he learned language, he was like any other student. No interest in language, no hold, no means to learn it, no means to attain it. Many of you can relate to him. And this episode may be helpful for the trainers and teachers of English language, as he is going to tell us something that worked for him and many of his classmates to learn English speaking, and that may help you accordingly to frame and plan your classes. At the end of Burhan's talk, I too will add something from my experience being an English teacher and give you more elucidation of what Burhan would say, and may also recommend certain important things to boost your language. So watch till end. This episode may be a little lengthy, but you can't afford to miss it if you are an aspirant of learning English speaking. So I ask Burhan to kick off his talk right away. Thank you, Burhan, for joining us.
This is Burhan again here. I hope you enjoyed my last audio on poetry and its benefits. Today I will speak out that how I learned English language. I will share my part of life with you when I started learning English language. So, how I learned English language. Whenever you see anyone speaking English language, whenever you see anyone doing something great in English language, someone doing something efficient in part of English language, two things may come in your mind. Two things. One is the question and another is desire. The question that may come in your mind is that how he learnt English language. How he is able to speak English language fluently. Okay? These type of questions may come in your mind. But the desire that may come in your heart, and I appreciate that desire, that is how I can do the same. And I want to do the same. So most of the people are possessing this desire in their hearts, that how they can learn English language efficiently. Similarly, when I started learning English language, same desire was in my heart that time. And my focus was towards this desire. As it said that where focus goes, energy flows. My focus was towards my desire of learning language, and my all energy flowed towards it. I would like to discuss how I learned English language in 4 points. As a beginner, when I was in 8th class, in year 2017, I was not good at English language. And I was always humiliated. I used to write that time. I used to read as well. I used to practice English language. But the guidance was also missing that time. I was not able to speak a simple sentence that time. What was missing that time was guidance and inspiration. So you must have this thing in your life while learning anything or while learning English language. Inspiration and guidance. When I joined ninth class, it was year 2018, I thought that I have entered the new world of learning English language. I was astonished at that time. When I saw Mr. Asif sir teaching in such a different manner, I really got astonished. I was surprised that time. I took the guidance from Asif sir and I started my investment. I would like to say my best investment in English language. That is the practicing part. I was shown that you don't have to be shy. Shyness is a sin in learning anything good. If you feel shy in learning, then it's a sin for you. I was shown what is creativity. I started reading. Okay, my first step was reading. When I started reading, my first novel was The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. My second novel was Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. And so on. I at least completed 20 to 30 novels that year, in year 2018. And I got a new influence. I used to speak in morning assemblies. I used to do loud reading. I used to write answers on my own. We in the class started to make a word wall on which everyday specific words with their meanings were pasted. I used to listen TED Talks, I used to experiment new words and so on. There was a lot of stuff in my input part, in practicing part, in my best investment. My most of the time was invested in learning language because all my energy was flowing towards my desire. My focus was towards my desire. So your focus should be towards learning language. Your energy will flow automatically but under guidance and inspiration. I would like to say I was addicted to language, English language, because I was under both guidance as well as inspiration. Because the whole atmosphere that I entered that time was totally filled with fruits of creativity and innovation. It was about practicing under the guidance with passion and desire and zest. Passion is that fire which will lead you towards your destination. I used to spend my half nights reading, in writing, in listening, in watching. It was all associated with English language. That was my passion towards learning language. So today I'm something. So today I'm in front of you speaking fluently. Otherwise it was not possible. That's what is the part of learning language under the guidance and the best investment and the focus. So third part, okay, I discussed as a beginner, I discussed my inspiration and guidance, and the third part is output part. It's the third point. When I was really passionate about language, still I am, and I used to listen, I used to write, read, speak in assemblies and class, but input without output is of no use. You have to put this talk in your mind. If you are inputting something in you and you are not reflecting it out, it's of no use. When I invested my all efforts in practicing the language under specific atmosphere, okay, then I started reflecting out by sharing, performing. When I was in ninth class, I was chosen as a speaker on the occasion of drug addiction, and 3 more girls were chosen that time, which were really efficient in English language than me. They performed well, but that time I was not having any script in my hand. And I stepped on stage and I started giving my speech. It was my first experience in front of the 200, 300 people, chief guests, students, full auditorium was filled with people, and I was appreciated that time. But why? Because my practicing part, my best investment was with focus and guidance. And naturally my language came out. You may face heavy mother tongue influence while speaking, in which your mother tongue may come out subconsciously. But when you perform practically and input in such a great, efficient and abundant way, you will definitely perform well in English language. And the language will come out of you naturally. This is the effect of spending your time in learning language. Okay? And your motive will be confined towards speaking in English language. Because when you enter the atmosphere of English language, you will confine your focus towards only speaking in English language. And it will come out of you naturally. I also performed in Great Orators on 18 September 2018. And that time our chief guest was there, Mr. Shahnaz Bashir, okay, the great novelist, English novelist from Kashmir. And it was really a great stuff of learning English language that time. Even I am the learner of English language. After all this input, output, okay, putting your passion, focus, inspiration, guidance, nullifying the effect of barriers is the fourth point. It's most important. It's not certain that you will get a smooth path while traveling towards destination of success. Okay, when you walk towards success, it's impossible to have a smooth path because the road to the success is full of obstacles. The obstacles in your path are the signs of success. But you just need to nullify their effect while overcoming them with zest. I faced a lot of problems while learning language. Still, I am the student and I still face them, but my inner motivation doesn't allow them to put negative effect on me. Rather, I make myself feel that these are the signs of success. That's what you have to do. I am today speaking in front of you, but when I put efforts, my time, my passion in such a mixture, okay, by the touch of guidance and inspiration, and by nullifying the negative effect of obstacles, that's what made me a good learner of English language. At last, I would like to quote the saying of Martin Luther King, that is, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But you have to keep moving forward. So it was about the journey of learning English language with me. I hope you enjoyed it. I would like to suggest at end that you have to practice. You have to create an atmosphere of learning language. You have to remove inferiority complex from you. You don't have to be shy. You have to do input as well as output, which is the most important part. You have to put your golden time in learning and focusing towards the language part. The destination is not so far. You will ultimately lead to that day on which day you will speak English language fluently, naturally. Thank you for patient listening.
Thank you very much, Burhan, for sharing this insightful experience. I'm sure this is very, very beneficial for all the English learners. So, dear listeners, Burhan talked about 4 important things as far as learning English language is concerned. The first one was inspiration and guidance. Very important, very basic as far as learning something is concerned. Inspiration means something or someone who or that makes you do something, creates that urge and desire to achieve something. Unless you have hunger, you won't look for food, will you? Find something or someone that can become a reason for you to learn the language. Count the benefits of being able to speak that may inspire you. Or you can watch or listen to good speakers who may inspire you, who may create an urge to become a good speaker. We have great speakers like Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Nick Vujicic, a wonderful speaker. He doesn't have arms and legs, yet he is marvelous in speaking in public. Hamza, Yousuf, Simon Sinek, Oprah Winfrey, a great lady, a great speaker. Muniba, Mazari, Yasir, Qadhi, Mehdi, Hassan, Hamza, Tzortis, Nauman Ali Khan, Yasmin, Mogahed, Barack Obama. They are all great speakers. You can search them, and there are many more. I have given the list of the speakers in the description. You can check them. and you can watch them one by one, and whosoever you find the best for you, you may relate to that speaker, and then you can hold him as a role model for you, and then you can accordingly follow. And furthermore, Burhan talked about guidance. Guidance too can be sought accordingly. When you listen to these speakers, they may guide you. And this channel, Literature World, is also committed to guide you in learning English and learning literature. The next very important point was investment. You got inspired, you found a role model. Now the thing is, you have to work. As they say, success is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. Okay, now the perspiration part will start when you get inspired, when you find a reason to work on it, when you get that urge and hunger to learn language. Now the investment part is there. Investment is very important. Burhan used a beautiful word, that is investment. Like you can't begin a business without the capital, the investment, let alone reaping the profit from it, earning money. In the same way, you cannot begin speaking in English or any other language unless you invest in it. And there are two investments you have to put. The first one is listening. You can listen to podcasts like these, audio lectures, video lectures. You can watch some good English movies, or you can sit in programs where the speakers speak in English. So that means simply you have to create an atmosphere of language, atmosphere of listening. You have to listen the variety of speakers and variety of stuff, so that you get adapted with the language, you get familiar with the words, and then it can influence your speaking. Number two input is reading. This input is supplementary. That means this supports you further to gain the proficiency in English language. You can learn words, new words. You can learn sentence structuring by reading books. And you can even learn grammar through reading. You can read newspapers, you can read journals, fiction, non-fiction, a variety of things you can read. I would recommend 6 books for the beginners here. And this list is already given in the description box. You can check that and you can find these books and buy them. The first one is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Very good book for the beginners, very easy to understand and full of great thoughts. Number 2 book is Scattered Souls by Shahnaz Bashir. This is an anthology of short stories, beautiful short stories. You will love them, and the language is very easy to understand. Number 3 is The Kite Runner by Khalid Hosseini. Number 4, The Half Mother by Shahnaz Bashir, a beautiful book. Number 5 is a non-fiction, The Diary of a Young Girl, written by Annie Frank, a 13-year-old girl. And number 6 is The 40 Rules of Love by Elif Shafak. You buy them, read them, and see the influence on your speaking and on your writing also. And number 3, Burhan talked about was output. That means when you listen, you get the input. Now is the time of output. You have to try to speak also. And don't be afraid about mistakes. In initial, you will commit a lot of mistakes and you have to allow yourself to commit them. And if you are a teacher, give your students freedom to make mistakes. Don't stop them every now and then. The moment they commit a grammatical mistake, you have to allow them to keep on committing mistakes, and their mistakes are going to teach them, because mistakes are the best teacher. If you are stopping them to commit mistakes, actually you are stopping them to learn. Dear students and dear learners, be insult proof. Don't be afraid of insults. This process that I talked about is a natural process of learning language. Rest are quick fixes. They don't work, they only disappoint. The natural way is a long way, but that's the permanent way. I won't fool you by saying get fluency in English just within 3 or 2 months. No language can be mastered within this short period of time. They are just lies. You have to follow this process that we just talked about. Any language, talk about any language you have to learn, that will go, the learning of those languages will go through these processes. So you may feel sometimes disappointed when the results don't come, but as Burhan beautifully said, don't let any obstacle stop you. Keep investing, you will get the profit. You will get the fruit one day. It's a great journey. You will love every moment of learning. Learning makes the life purposeful. So this was it about today's podcast. Keep learning, keep supporting. Write to us if you have any suggestions or any advice. We will be welcoming them. We'll be appreciating them. Thank you very much. God be with you.